In the last video, I explained the color tools in Photoshop and how you can use them. In this video, I want to demonstrate how we can effectively transfer what we have learned into our different designs and digital illustrations. So let's get started. Alright, so we are open here inside Photoshop, and if you look on the layers panel, you can see that I have some groups already prepared for this lecture. So I will start by enabling the shapes group right here. And right now, I want you to take a closer look at the shapes we have on the screen. We have a blue rectangle and this dark orange circle. Now it might interest you to know that these colors don't actually match as far as I'm concerned. If we go to the colors panel right here, you can see I have switched by clicking on this fly out menu and choosing the color wheel. You can see that if I press I key to access the eyedropper and sample this color, you can see it on the color wheel, and we can see that the color that complements it, the color on the opposite side of the color wheel, is this cool color, which is blue. So many people will say that complementary colors usually work well. In this case, they really do, but the colors do not actually pop out so well. So I think the problem is not actually about the color you pick or the hue you are using. The color is about something which we usually ignore, and it is the brightness slider right here, which is called the value. First, I will start by going to the window and choosing the info command right here. And when the info command comes in, please come over to this fly out menu and choose panel options. On the info panel options, we have the first color readout and the second color readout. On the first color readout, let us allow the mode to the actual color, because right now if I tilt this to the left, you can see we have CMYK, which is the colors used in printing. So in the second color readout right here, let us change the mode to grayscale, and by doing so you will see we have just one value here, which is K. K is the key color or the black color. In printing, K is usually considered a black color because it is mixed with other colors to give the desired color that the printer wants. So with these two settings checked, let us now click on the OK. Right now let us click on the eyedropper tool, and right now let us hover on the screen to this portion of the rectangle with our mouse, and you can clearly see, look at the K value here. As I hover to the portion of the rectangle, look at the K value right here. You see it is 95%. Okay, now let us take the mouse towards the circle, like in the middle here. You can see the percentage of the circle is 81% on that particular K value. So you can see that 81% and 95% is really close. If you really want the contrast to pop in your designs, always make sure the difference between this color and this color is big enough. All right, but then how can we bring this difference? Okay, very easy. I will start by selecting the circle, and then with the eyedropper tool, I just press the I key. I will sample this color so that it shows up on the color wheel. Right now what I'm going to do is to completely ignore the hue and the saturation. I don't need to pick any other hue color from the color slider. I'm very much comfortable with this particular color. The only thing I'm interested in is the value slider or the brightness slider right here. Let us pull that up. Alright, we pulled that up to 98%, and the corresponding foreground color changes to that particular color. So with the foreground set to this color, I will now press the Alt key and the backspace key on my keyboard. That is Alt and backspace to fill this shape with the foreground color. Okay, I think by now you can clearly see how the circle is able to pop out from the blue background. Now let us go to the info panel and see the difference this time. If we hover to the circle, you can see that the K value now measures 47% and the background is 95%. If you subtract 47% from 95%, you will have a big gap. All right, So this gap is what you should be interested in. The reason why this color is able to pop up on the screen, it is because the gap of the color value between the circle and the background is wide enough. Let me press Ctrl Z to undo that change so that we can go back to the previous color for a moment. You can see before this value here was just 81%, but if I now press Ctrl and Shift Z to redo that change, you can now see it is 47%. So the key takeaway here is not always about changing the hue. It is actually about playing with the value slider right here. That is where the magic happens. So to make things even more dramatic, I can click on the eyedropper tool to sample the color from this rectangle and then take down the value instead. If the circle is the focal point of this image, then I need to make sure it is well shown in the design. So with this slider taken down, I need to fill this rectangle by pressing Alt plus backspace. Now it becomes even more evident that these two colors really go well together. And guys, we did not change the hue, we did not change the saturation. The only thing we did was play with the brightness or the value slider. So that is the first thing I wish you understand from this lecture. I will switch again to the layers panel and let us hide the shapes group. Right now I have a design which is this particular card. If we zoom in, you can clearly see that there is some work that needs to be done here. So the goal of this design is to make sure that all the important information such as the branding name really shows up so well. So I will start by selecting the background, and then what I will do, since I already have this foreground color, I will press the Alt backspace to fill just like so. And then for the branding name, I want to fill it with the background color. So I will now press Ctrl plus backspace to fill the brand name with white. So Alt plus backspace to fill the foreground color and Ctrl and backspace to fill the background color. Then for the logos that are right here, I will switch to my path selection tool, which is the black arrow, and then I can change their colors to white from here. Alright, so the design that looks boring a moment ago is coming to life by adjusting the colors and making sure that they really pop. I will now select the tag line, and then on the properties panel, since it is a text layer, I will come to color and choose white. For this color right here, I'm just going to make sure it is selected, and then I can fill that with red by pressing Alt and backspace key. For the text here at the bottom, I am going to fill that with black, and by adjusting the colors with high contrast values, the design is able to pop out. Alright, okay, so let us go to the info panel and let us try to compare, because for now I'm very satisfied with the way the colors look, so there is no much work that needs to be done right here. So I'll hover on this portion. We can see the difference here on the K value, that it is 97. On the white text, it is 0, 97 and 0. So the gap is really there, and that is why this particular text feels so nice on top of this dark blue background. Let us compare the red. So the red has 58% and the background has 97, which is still why we are able to see it out clearly. On this gray color, we can see that it is 83% and this other color is 97%. But the reason why this color pops out is because of the white portion right here at the bottom. If we hover the mouse to the white portion, you can see that it is at 0% on the info panel. So the info panel is really very helpful, especially if you need to really prove the colors to make sure that the contrast really pops out. So with just a few clicks, we are able to change the look of the card we have on the screen to the look it has right now. I will collapse this group and then also disable it. If I click on the layer group here to enable the eye icon so that we can see, you can see it is still the same design we corrected a moment ago, but I designed this using black and white for a specific reason. What if you intend to change the colors of this design using few clicks and not clicking everything on the screen like we did previously? Well, this is where I think the gradient map in Photoshop comes in very handy. To add a gradient map to this group, let us go down here to adjustment layers, we click, And then the second option to the last, we can see it is gradient map. Let us select that. When it opens up on the screen, I can choose to remove the marks because I don't actually need it for this particular design. Now, if we look on the gradient map right here, we can see it has two distinctive colors, black and white. So we are going to use the gradient map to remove every color that is black and every color that is white. And the way to do that is by clicking on it, and when the gradient editor opens up, we just click on this tiny house right here. After clicking, it is now left for us to decide which color we want to replace the white with. So I'll come here on the color and I'll say, maybe let us choose this nice yellow color. Alright, let's click OK. And for the white, I can click here and go to color, and I can pick a nice complementary color such as a dark blue. Alright, so we have simply instructed the gradient map to replace every color that was white and every color that was black. Right now, the next thing we need to do is to hit OK. Now you can see that the gradient map affects everything on the screen, but I still want it to maintain the black background we have here previously and use this branding only on this design. The way to do that is by holding the Alt or the Option key and clicking in between the cut below, which we need to correct, and the gradient map to add a clipping marks. And by doing so, we make sure that that gradient map affects just what is on the card and not anything else. Okay guys, this is very cool and it is very awesome. Let us try to measure the contrast using the info command again. If we hover to this portion, you can see we have a black of 35%, and if we hover to the darker blue, we can see it is 98%. 35%, 98%. That is why these colors are really popping on the screen the way they are. So with just a few clicks, we can effectively change the look of our design using the gradient map. That was the first example. Let us have another variation of this same card using the gradient map. Okay, so look at what has happened guys. With 5 to 6 clicks, we are able to alter the look of this image using just the gradient map. And as always, let's try to measure the difference to see exactly what is going on. Here we have 97%, as you can see on the info panel, and if we hover to the text, we can see it has 43%. Okay, so the difference between 97% and 43% is wide enough, and that is why we are able to see these nice colors actually popping and working together. Alright guys, so as you can see guys, the next time you are tempted to change the hue of any graphic, I want you to first play with the value of that same hue, because sometimes the solution might just be a simple drag on the value slider to either decrease or increase the value percentage. And also don't forget to use the powerful info command, which helps in comparing the different color values. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for upcoming movies. See you in the next one.